So this is my diary entry for week 6 for the module WT4028. This is also my week 6 submission. So we had to look and submit our investigation and research and analysis to brief this week. Um, so over the last few weeks, I've been submitting different investigation and research every week. So this week I was kind of hoping to move on to how this investigation research is actually affecting my design and how my ideas are developing and how it's changing and um, how I'm incorporating new things. So there are my initial ideas, and this is kind of the one that I looked at. Kind of the initial day, gave me a little bit of inspiration. Um, and then here's just my very beginning looking at the research of farm safety. So farm safety just over at this side. Um, Moved on then to looking at farm safety and looked at poisons. So this is just research and investigation. I looked at the chemicals accidents that happen on farms, and then I looked at the poisoning within children. So this is the piece of this is going to influence my design. So this is the piece that is going to how my ideas developed. So I took this one as well. So affecting the body, so how it can be prevented using PPE, and I use that as well. So that's going to come into my idea development later. Then just how that you now have to record all your medicines being used. So I kind of wanted to bring that in as well. Then when I found out about the environmental factor, I looked at um, I wanted to add an environmental factor in, so I looked at how disposal of hazardous materials on farms at the moment, and I decided to incorporate some sort of thing that I could maybe dispose correctly in this little storage unit, and then be able to bring it to these different events that take place over the country, where you can actually get rid of them properly. So you actually have to hold them in your own farm until these events come around. So I kind of want to include that in my design. So my problem statement is this: the safekeeping of medicines and chemicals and disposal of hazardous materials such as needles and medicines is an important aspect for farm safety, or for safety on a farm. So this is the problem that I looked at, and then I made a brief around it. And I said, design and realize a storage unit for the safekeeping of medicines, chemicals on a farm, which can also provide for the safe disposal of chemicals and other waste materials. So kind of similar enough to the problem statement. And then I moved on to the analysis of my problem brief. So again, I just wrote up here the problem brief, and I looked at the different requirements that I needed. So the user is obviously just a farmer. So there's just two farmers up there. A safety feature. So I kind of, the way I looked at it was obviously when you're dealing with chemicals and poison, there is a safety aspect. So I feel like you'll see that later in my idea development, how I actually have a feature where the most harmful or the most poisonous medicines can be kept in safer storage away from children. Then ergonomics, I kind of looked at maybe how high should it be. So look at the heights of shelves, and then that will help me to know what height this should be. What the proper height for easiness, and also then to keep out of a little bit too. You want to higher for so children can't gain access to it either. The function obviously is to hold and store chemicals, PPE wear, and then this disposal of hazardous material as well after. Sizes. So I looked at the size of in general a penicillin bottle. That's the most common medicine used on a farm, and this is what they look like. So they're kind of small, with a kind of a flat top on them. And then most other medicines are the same size as this, use the exact same bottle, or else are smaller. There's not many too much more that size, so I kind of wanted to keep maybe the storage area small. The aesthetics then, so I kind of wanted to use the curves from my project up here from the my existing artifact, and I want to keep that on the top and bottom rail, so it's going to have a nice kind of flow and curve to it. Setting in context, obviously, it's going to be out on a farm. Usually, so usually when you're applying medicines and all that, it's in like near a cattle crush. So usually there's going to be a shed beside the cattle crush, and that's where it's going to be. So it's got to be hard wearing because weather conditions obviously it's going to be damper in the sheds, and even just in general kind of just dirt, more dirty and a bit more hard wearing than it would be inside. Material then it's going to be all recycled material. So I have an old bed frame made of I think Ruan wood, and then this is birch ply laminates. So the Ruan wood was going to be was sourced from Asia, so it's small pieces of wood glued together, offcuts, and then it's brought back and made into furniture. And it's not made in Ireland usually or in European companies or European countries because it actually costs too much. So labor and all that is cheaper out there, and they have bigger machines, so they do it out there. But it's actually not really a practice done in Ireland. So it is actually a hardwood as well, and then obviously the birch ply laminates as well. Um, then looking at the environment, so the environmental factor that I want to do is disposal, the safe disposal of sharps, and old medicine bottles. And then looking at the cost, so all the materials, will be recycled obviously, so the cost is going to be quite low. Just the time that you put into to make it. And then I had the team was kind of the curves again, looking at these curves. So I kind of maybe that was my team, was just kind of having nice flowing piece. So that was kind of the analysis of the problem brief. I then moved on. So this is then just looking at where my original kind of design, so my initial design up here, and then how that influenced my design down here, and how I brought in these curves into it. Um, so then once I found that, then um, I started looking at my idea development. So for all from these are some of the different aspects that I got from my investigation and research. So if I go on to the next slide here, you see it easier. So this is kind of my finished artifact, the one that I want to make. So you have um, this up here for recording the medicine. So I found that through my investigation and research, and there's a little you have a pen and paper, and they can record all their medicines they use there. Then you'd have an area here. So I'm still trying to design this. I'm hoping to have it here, an area to dispose of hazardous material. I'm still trying to see maybe what could fit in. Would I could put it in a sharps box? How big are they? Uh, then I have a secure area to keep the most dangerous medicine safe away from children. So this twists around in um, turn around and be hidden away from view, and the most important medicines. And then finally, so the PPE gloves are over here. And then these can be used obviously while if there's administer in medicines or anything like that. I was also maybe thinking of putting in an area for a mask, so it's to stop inhalation of the dangerous medicines and chemicals while they're using them. So that's my idea development.